A very common concern that comes up a lot in leadership training is, how do I, as a manager, manage my team properly when we have several team members from different age groups? And I do think there are common practices that work across the board, and there are ones that are helpful to know depending on which generation your team member falls in. I'm going to say this once because I know people take things literally. I'm not making blanket statements. I'm going to give you some general rules of thumb for each generation. However, that doesn't mean every single baby boomer needs to be led this way, or every millennial needs to be led this way. Human beings are human beings. Nothing is 100%, but these are helpful tips. For today, let's identify those 4 generations that we're going to be discussing. So we've got baby boomers, we've got Gen X, we've got millennials, and we have Gen Z or Gen Z. I don't care how you say it. We're going to give you like 3 to 5 tips on how you can best lead people from each of those different age groups. Okay, baby boomers. So usually born between 1946 to late 1960s. Tip number 1 when leading a baby boomer: please acknowledge their wealth of experience and knowledge. That is so important to them. They have been around for a while, that'd be me included. No, I'm definitely not new. Acknowledging that they do have valuable work experience and wisdom, that goes a long way in leading. If you have a baby boomer on your team, tip number 2, give them clear directions, clear instructions, clear expectations. They are used to working in a time of hierarchy. They do want to know that they're doing what they're supposed to be doing and that they're getting things done on a deadline that's set for them. So be very clear in your expectations and what your timeline looks like for them. Tip number 3 with a baby boomer: please acknowledge or reward their work ethic. I know for me, that has been drilled into me. And I'm not going to lie, I have a hard time watching some people's work ethic today and not feeling frustrated or judgy about it. We were taught really strong work ethic, and I'm not saying there aren't young people who haven't as well. I do know we've got kids in my own family that are in their 20s, and their work ethic is unbelievable. So I'm very proud of them. If you're a younger leader, I do want you to know that somebody in my generation, a baby boomer, really takes a lot of pride in their work ethic. Please just acknowledge that. Let them know how much you appreciate their hard work and how dedicated they are to their role and responsibilities. Tip number 4 when leading a baby boomer: please be patient with them when it comes to technology. Maybe you need to give them a little extra attention or send them for a course, invest in their learning, because it's not that they don't want to understand things better. It's just they weren't raised in a generation of technology the way younger people are. Don't make assumptions or think they should just know how. Please take your time and allow them space to learn what they need to learn. Believe in them. They can learn it. They may just need a little extra time and a little bit of extra training. On to Gen X. They're born between the 60s and 80s. When leading Gen X, it is important for you to understand that they really do admire and appreciate autonomy, self-reliance. They're not so big on being micromanaged. So keep that in mind. Talk to them a little bit more about how you can lead them in a way that's effective for them. They really do value their own ability to see things through and task through without being micromanaged. This generation, tip number 2, really values open, ongoing communication more than they do like quarterly performance reviews. They would rather you were giving them ongoing conversations and feedback. That works much better for them. Tip number 3 for Gen X, they do have experience with technology, but it's still fairly new. So we want to make sure that we do offer training opportunities and we have patience when it comes to new technologies being put in place. Next tip for Gen X, please promote work-life balance. This is something, believe it or not, that starts to really show up in that generation where they are looking for work-life balance and want to know that that's important in the organizations they work for. And now we move on to millennials, born in the 80s and 90s. Number 1 tip for managing or leading millennials: they want to know that their work is meaningful or driven by purpose. They want to know what they do matters. This is when we start to see this trend really kick in. People want to know they're doing something and part of something bigger than themselves. Please bring your people into the vision and the values of your organization. Share with them what that big picture is. Help them understand how their roles and their responsibilities tie back to the big picture of their organization. Tip number 2, millennials need you to embrace technology. They're comfortable with it. Ask them their opinion on things. Ask them what they know. Maybe they've got quicker ways. Maybe they have some apps or software they know about that can be helpful to your team on projects. Pick their brain about technology. They will embrace that themselves, and they will love being able to talk to you about things they can do to help your organization grow and flourish. Millennials love a flexible work schedule. So where it's possible, allow them to create their schedule so that they can be the most productive. Have them understand what their tasks and responsibilities are, and let them figure out when and how they're going to get things done. At the end of the day, as long as things are finished by their deadline, this is where we have to think outside the box. Does it really matter if it's not done in traditional office hours? Give that some thought. When it comes to millennials, that flexibility matters to them so much more than you realize. Millennials love professional development. I'm not saying the other generations don't. I'm just talking about trends and things that you can find all kinds of studies on. Millennials love to know that you're investing, that their company or their managers or leaders are investing in their growth, in their personal and professional development. On to Gen Z. Those are people born in the 90s all the way up to around 2010. So some of them haven't officially entered the workforce yet. Number 1, Gen Z is going to, or does, admire transparency and authenticity. That's important to them. Again, not that it's unimportant to others, but they're a lot more vocal about this now. And people don't feel the same loyalty to companies as they used to. They're okay to hop around and have 10 different jobs in 10 different companies. So the climate's changing. The landscape is changing. If they don't feel like they are working for an authentic company or a boss that is transparent and real and honest, then they're going to move on. That's just a fact. If you lead a Gen Z person, please know how important diversity and inclusion is going to be to that team member. They were raised and are being raised in a time where diversity and inclusion are all around them. We are talking about that in social media, out there in the world every single day. That is going to be a big deal for them, making sure that you are promoting that within your team and within your organization. If you want to keep people loyal and with you long term and performing at their best, then you must promote diversity, quality, and inclusion. And this generation is going to take technology to a whole different level with you. So please, this final tip, be very open-minded and open to having them help you. If you're older than them, have them help you with technology. Have them teach you what you can do in your organization through technology that maybe you wouldn't be able to do without it. Pick their brain, ask their opinion on what you can be doing as a leader or as an organization within your team to really leverage all the technology that's out there today. Okay, so we kind of divided up those generations, but like I told you, I think there are common practices that work across the board. So I'm just going to go over a couple of those super quick. Number 1, mutual respect. That goes a long way. I don't care what generation you are in. When you are respectful to your team members, you earn their respect back. Number 2, trust. Trust is empowering. When you trust your people to do what they need to get done and you don't micromanage them, your company flourishes. Number 3, developing a feeling of meaning and belonging in your workplace. When your employees have a sense of meaning and belonging, that is a game changer. They feel like they are part of something bigger than them. They feel valued. They feel important. They feel like their roles and responsibilities are part of achieving a bigger picture. That, I don't care what generation you're in, all of us as human beings crave meaning and belonging. Feeling like people want to invest in you, in your personal and professional growth, I think that works across the generations. When we're given opportunities to learn more, to maybe go to a seminar or a workshop or take an extra training or to try something we haven't tried before at work, to take on a new task, that matters to most of us. I don't care what generation you're in. I'm 54. I love learning. I'm always taking courses. I'm always investigating new things. I try to stay up with technology the best that I can. Look, these videos aren't fancy, but at least I'm making them. Giving your team members, no matter what age, an opportunity to learn and grow, I think is appreciated all the time. And the final tip that I think works as a leader, no matter what ages your team members are, is for you as a leader to lead by example, to be in integrity with your actions and your words, to be authentic, to be trustworthy, to own your own crap. If you have to apologize, apologize, to be honest, vulnerable, transparent. All of those qualities, those matter to people. And to me, that's ageless.